At the quarterback position a week ago, they're looking towards the future. Is Jalen Morton part of that future at that position? But this Louisville team, this is one of those times that there's not a ton to play for here today. But if you're the Kings, you've got to maintain the momentum. You've got to maintain the execution because they're playing the best football of anybody in the league right now, and they want to carry that into next week when they visit St. Louis out there in the Dome.
Fielded at the 10, and here we go. Columbus, after Louisville won the toss, gets the football and return to the 27-yard line. And here comes Jalen Morton. Joel mentioned it, the offensive player of the week this week in the UFL. His first start was a good one.
It really was, and a lot of that was because of his legs. You see that rush yards, 96 rush yards last week, over 200 throwing the football. 14 of 30, 4 total touchdowns, and this is a team that wants to keep it on the ground. Remember, when they're playing successful, they're running the football well. We'll see if they can do that against this Kings defense, which is not great against the run. That's really the one area of this Kings defense that has struggled during the course of the year is their ability to stop the run.
First down, Morton under some pressure, has to get rid of it on the sideline. He throws the interception and a walk-in pick six on play number 1 for Aviators.
It starts with the pass rush up front. Louisville gets all over Jalen Morton, and he panics a little bit. You can see him start to retreat. And, Kev, as soon as he starts to retreat, he's just trying to dump the football off to the outside. That wide receiver on the outside did not move, and that is an easy pick six right there. I tell you, it doesn't get any easier than that. He broke on it, and that is a quick touchdown for this Louisville club.
And this Kings team takes the ball away better than anybody in the UFL. That is their 16th takeaway in the last 5+ games. And a pick six for Aviators with the extra point makes it 7-0 Louisville. What a start for this Kings defense.
Well, here's the outside and the structure outside. You can see Garrar, he's just chasing the outlet out there, and he reads it the entire way. And you can tell Tay Martin, who is the leading receiver for this group on offense, he works out of the slot, but you see the pressure in the backfield. And there's where Morton just kind of falls off of his back foot. He's trying to get that ball outside, but you cannot do that. These defenders are too good. And that winds up in the end zone going the other direction. Look at him trying to fall away from the pressure right there. You cannot make that throw late like that. You're going to get a defender breaking across the face, and that's exactly what happens.
3rd pick six this season for Louisville. 17th takeaway of the year and a +8 now turnover margin, the best in the UFL. We talked about Chandler Rogers at the top. He's a big reason why they're in the postseason. Joel, that defense and the way they've played, the way they've pressured the quarterback, the way they've taken the ball away, it's a huge contributing factor as well.
Well, pressure always leads to poor decisions from the quarterback, and that's something they've got with Cam Gill rushing the quarterback. He gets after the passer with so much efficiency. He's got 10 sacks on the year.
Good return by Elijah Blades out to the 34-yard line. We'll see how Jalen Morton bounces back from a rough first 13 seconds of this game. Now 20 seconds in, and already 7-0 Louisville.
Well, I would just assume that Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator, is going to try to get right to the ground game, because you can't put him back there to throw it after that. That's just shell-shock territory.
Without Zaquandre White today, officially under the weather per the Columbus Aviators, so John Lovett's going to carry a lot of the load with Toatawa at the running back spot. Got a big guy in the backfield, Ryan Nelson, lined up in the fullback spot. Here's Lovett trying to get it to the outside, and he cannot get away from Jaheim Thomas as we check in with Jake Button.
Yeah, guys, I was talking to Columbus offensive coordinator Todd Haley pregame, and he told me Jalen Morton as a quarterback reminds him of a young Ben Roethlisberger in the sense he has the chance and the ability to make some special plays, but like you saw in that pick six, occasionally he's going to make those plays that make you pull your hair out. The goal for him is to start to eliminate some of those mistakes, but a bad start to the game for Morton.
180.
2nd and 9. Out of the backfield, it's Lovett up the sideline. He's got a first down. And out of bounds at the 46, but a flag down.
Ineligible player downfield, number 69 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Cole Cabral costs an 11-yard gain. All right, with Columbus on offense, Joel, who do you have as players to watch?
Well, John Lovett is certainly one of those guys. They've got to get the run game going when they do throw the football. Last week, a guy, Kiki Chisholm, on the outside, he had a big day, 3 catches for over 50 yards. And then defensively for this Louisville group, I already mentioned Cam Gill. I think he is the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year here in the UFL. Has set a UFL single-season record with those 10 sacks. And then Corey Mayfield on the outside. Mayfield on the outside, 4 interceptions this year. He missed last week with an injury, but he's got 4 picks already. This is a guy that can get after the ball, there's no doubt. And again, this team, they picked the ball off. 13 interceptions now after that pick 6 earlier in this game.
Pick the ball off, and they pick the flag up. It's first down after the 11-yard gain, and here's Morton using his legs, and Morton on the zone read into Louisville territory and out of bounds near the 47.
Well, it's just that read on the outside. So here you go. You're going to get eyes on the defensive end. So you're going to read this defensive end right here. If he crashes down, then you're just going to get on the outside. There he goes. So he squeezes down, and there's Morton on the outside. He's certainly got the elusiveness. He's a big player as well. He's 6'4", 226. So he's certainly sturdy enough to carry the football.
After the 7-yard gain, it's 2nd and 3. Ball across midfield, so the punt off the table for Columbus. And on 2nd and 3, drive up the middle for the first down. And Lovett moves the chains for Columbus.
Kings!
It's been the ground game all year for Columbus. They are the 2nd best rushing offense in the UFL, almost 135 yards per game on the ground.
The key for them, Kev, is the consistency running the football. Todd Haley knows that. You know, they do not throw the ball well down the field.
Covered on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
What? No, he was not! No, he wasn't! He was on!
They're saying that was an illegal formation, but number 58, who is the tackle, Bless Harris, saying that he was off the line of scrimmage and uncovered. I believe that's right.
Hey, we got change
Their
right.
tight end, Cam McDonald, was off the line. So there's the tackle. Here's a wide receiver right there. They're saying he was uncovered, so they're saying that he was not up on the line of scrimmage, the wide receiver.
That was pretty second ball right there. Yeah, very technical. Trying to find room to the outside and out of bounds near midfield. It'll set up a 3rd down and 6 coming up for Columbus. And this defense, led by Jamie Sharper, teammates with head coach Chris Redmond when they were with the Ravens in 2000 and 2001. This defense has just gotten better and better all season long.
Yeah, they really have. I think they're playing their best football. You know, they're 3rd in the league right now in scoring defense. They're not great against the run, and that's one thing that they're going to have to decide today, because you know Columbus is going to try to run the football. Again, they run the football 2nd most in the league, almost 30 rushes per game, so they've got to decide how many resources they're going to commit to stopping the run.
3rd and 6, good throw and catch. Easop Winston diving down for the first down.
This is a really good throw, in particular on an in-breaking route at the chains. Watch where Morton puts this ball. And this is important. You get an in-breaking route, you need to throw that ball down near the ground, and so the wide receiver can protect himself. He knows that he's going into an area where there's other defenders. Jaheim Thomas is there, the linebacker. You can't lead him out in front right into the linebacker. That was actually a very good throw.
It's down to 10. Morton with time. Nobody open. Now zips it in the direction of Tay Martin, and it's 2nd and 10.
Decent pressure there from Louisville. You got to have a protection plan against Cam Gill. This guy, number 46, Cam Gill, can absolutely get after the quarterback. He's one of the best. Well, he is the best in the UFL. Single season UFL record, 10 sacks. And they're going to have a plan for him.
Say, 180. That's right.
2nd and 10. Fake the give to Tay Martin. Keeping it up the middle is Morton. Wriggles down to the 39-yard line of the grasp of Jalen Allen. Brings up 3rd down and long for Columbus.
Yeah, and they're across the 50 here, so this is not a punting zone. And you look at what they've got from a kicking perspective. Jonah Dalmas, he's only attempted 2 field goals this year so far. He was signed late. Now he has made 93 career field goals going back to his college career at Boise State, but this one will be a long one. This will be about 58.
Hit from 48 in his first opportunity last week. Morton tossed and dropped. Had the open man in Cam McDonald, and McDonald started to turn upfield before he tucked it away.
He sure did. I don't know if he gets to the sticks, even if he catches this ball. I think that the defense was too good. Good throw right here. I mean, it's right out in front, but you can see the defenders closing right there. Cam Dantzler on the outside, number 3. He's doing a good job. Guerrero is in there as well, and now we're going to get the long field goal attempt.
So Jonah Dalmas, who came in mid-May when Brian Coe was released, he's the all-time leading scorer at Boise State. Career-long 56-yarder in college. This is 58. Jake Butt talked with him pregame, said he feels good from this range. 58 yards for 3 in the drive by Dolphin.
Yeah, lead on the run game a little bit, but he also threw a couple of really nice passes to lead them into field goal range. And how about the kick, by the way? I mean, my goodness, great call by you, but Dalmas just banging it home.
To the 25, that ball is out. Tyler Hudson coughs it up, and Columbus saying they have it, and they do.
Let's go!
Well, this was awful close to his left knee being down. He's getting kind of tripped up at one point. I believe Jalen Walker was the first player in there, number 57. So watch as Hudson, there's 57 right here. He gets after the legs, okay? He's still got control of the ball, and then it comes loose as that left knee was starting to head down to the turf. But it looks to me like that ball was coming loose before he was down. There's the contact, left knee not quite down. Tough picture right there, but certainly rules fumble on the field. I don't know if there's going to be enough to overturn this one.
Xavier Benson with the hit, Fred Tompkins with the recovery, and a fumble by Hudson gives it right back to Columbus.
Man, good physical hit right there. Clearly out. Knee is not down. There it's down. Ball is clearly out. And what a break for Columbus. And Chandler Rogers has got to be sitting over there like, man, I can't even get on the field. Louisville's yet to take an offensive snap, and now this is the 3rd possession for the Aviators.
From the 25-yard line, and Jalen Morton will go right back to work. 4-man rush for Louisville. Morton steps up into the pocket and missing on the sidelines. His open back toe towel.
Well, what a golden opportunity here for Columbus. I mean, the game could not have started off worse. You throw a pick 6 right out of the gate. But how about them clawing back right away? They drive down the field, get the field goal. Big special teams play to provide a short field. But as Ted Ginn knows, he's got to get this ball in the end zone. This is something that they do not excel at. I told you earlier, they don't throw it down the field very much. Kev, they're only 1 for 17 this year on passes thrown over 20 yards down the field.
2nd down and 10. The turn and the give. Looking for some space. It's Tower who gets a couple, and now it's 3rd and long for Columbus, trying to cash in on that fumble handed to them at the 25-yard line.
I think you got to get Morton out on the edge. I think his legs need to be a factor here, whether it's some sort of RPO run pass option or just a zone read where he's reading the defensive end and getting himself on the edge if there is a crash. But I think Morton's legs have to show up here. And remember, a lot of his runs last week scrambles. 9 of his 13 runs were scrambles. So even if it's covered up downfield, he can take off.
From the 23 on 3rd and 8. Morton throwing on the run for the end zone. Coming to get a touchdown. It's Kiki Chisholm. We talked about him in the pregame, and he delivers for 6 here in the 1st.
This was an absolute missile from Morton. He gets on the edge. We'll see if he secures the catch here right at the sideline. There's the foot down. He's got the ball secured right there, and he secures it through the process of going to the turf. And Morton just stares at that sideline because look at this throw. That is a missile. He's on the run. Kev, there was no arc on that ball. That didn't get above 6 feet. He just threw an absolute seed in there for a touchdown to a tight window. That is one heck of a throw by Jalen Morton.
And Kiki Chisholm's third touchdown catch of the year gives Columbus the lead. They do cash in on the fumble on the kickoff. We talked with Jalen Morton before the game. Said, what's the biggest strength that complements what you do? He said, it's my arm. I can make any throw on the field. Ted Ginn knows he can. He made a good one there.
To the game, I mean, it started off unfortunately with the pick six, ends there with a nice touchdown to Kiki Chisholm. Take me through how you're able to bounce back.
Take it one play at a time, have a short-term memory. At the end of the day, these guys trusting me and not trusting them. You know, both sides, offense, defense, special teams, and you saw what happened. Unfortunately, that first play was on me, and I gotta grow from that.
Great throw. Nice stuff.
We talked with him about battling through to get to this point as the starter, and he said a lot of people would have stopped before they got to that chance to start last week. He said, I've been in some rooms with some dudes who are now in the league, but I'm just trying to show people that I belong in the NFL, that I belong in the UFL, and I've got an arm to do it. Now on the return, trying a little bit of a redemption story. Tyler Hudson with a spark, and we're finally going to get to see Joel Klatt, the Louisville offense, and quarterback Chandler Rogers.
I was just going to say, we have yet to see Louisville on offense. It's 10-7, weird start to this game, and this is a redemptive return right there. Hudson puts it on the ground on the last return, and there, beautiful down the side. Look at him just hurdle. The kickers always go down kind of soft, though, right? I mean, like, I hate to look at him right there. He's like, I mean, it's almost like they're preparing to get hit even when they're trying to make a tackle. Why do I got to throw shade at kickers? I don't know.
I think that may have deserved it there. First offensive play comes from the 42-yard line, and it's Ian Wheeler on the run, and Wheeler inside the 40 and down at the 38. Chandler Rogers has been really the story of the second half of the season, maybe in the entire UFL, but certainly for the Louisville Kings. You know,
I know that most would say that probably Plummer in Orlando is going to be the MVP, but I think there's a strong argument for Chandler Rogers because of what he's meant to this offense and this team. And you think about who's playing the best football right now as we head into the playoffs. I think it's Louisville, winners of 5 of 6, and he's a big reason why.
Wheeler again up the middle to the 35-yard line, and it'll bring up a third down. And now Chandler Rogers, we don't expect to see him more than 2 series in this game. Chris Redmond wants to make sure he is healthy and ready to go for the playoffs next week. But the last 5 games, you cannot argue with the results. 30 points per game with Chandler Rogers at the helm.
I mean, they're the #2 scoring offense in the league, and it did not start out great. They lost 15-13 to Birmingham, 19-9 to Orlando. Then they finally got a little bit of juice offensively, scored 27 but lost. And then here in the last few weeks, 30, 33, 37, they're rolling.
Wheeler can't get free. On third down, he is stopped short. Good ankle tackle by Fred Tompkins, who recovered the fumble on the kick return. And now 4th and 3. Yeah, either have to go for it or try the field goal, and they're going to kick.
Well, Tanner Brown, he's the one that is carrying the torch here in the UFL. We've had some great kickers in spring football, certainly. Brandon Aubrey being the foremost of those. But Tanner Brown has been excellent. He's 25 of 28. He's only got 1 miss inside of 50 yards, excuse me. And he's been terrific, and hopefully I didn't just jinx him right now.
Kick is deflected. A flag is down as the kick is blocked and goes wide left. But we'll see about that flag. Did they get an early start?
I think they did.
Offside. Number 15 was in neutral zone at the defense. This 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, the rush is coming from this side right over here, but you're going to see the early get off right there, just a little bit early. That's what allows him to get in there. I'm giving a sigh of relief because I gave the announcers jinx, of course, and it gets blocked right away. So I'm not going to say anything right now, although this one is inside of 50. I'm just not going to say anything, but they got a first down.
I never would have even brought it up, Joel. Wheeler bounce into the outside. Tackle missed and out of bounds after a 9-yard run at the 21.
You know, these are those moments that you got to take advantage of. You get a free first down like that. and you got to make them pay. That's what good teams do. And obviously a mistake on the other side, a little bit of an early start. You get a free set of downs, and now the good teams go and execute and put the ball in the end zone. On the 2nd and 2. It's Wheeler again.
The ground game has been on the rise for Louisville over the last several weeks. They're still 5th in the league in rushing yards per game, but over the last 3 games, Joel, over 160 yards per game on the ground.
I mean, week 7, 29 carries, 145. Week 8, 37 carries, 134 in a big win over DC. And last week, the big one, week 9 against Dallas, 43 carries, well over 200 yards in that game. Wheeler had 93. This is a run game that certainly got its feet underneath it.
On 1st down and 10, it's Wheeler again. Not much that time. Stacked up by Tony Fields II. Steve Logan is the offensive coordinator for the Kings. So let's listen in.
4-dart Raptor. Wheel, check 7. Lee Flex, 4-dart Raptor. Wheel, check 6.
Lee Flex, 4-dart Raptor. F-Wheel, check 6. Oh, already. 4-dart. Let's go. Here we go. Salute.
2nd and 9. Rodgers. He'll tuck it. He'll run. He's got the corner. He's got the touchdown. Offsides call turns into touchdown.
Yeah, a really good read by Rodgers. First, he's got the read on the defensive end. The defensive end crashes, but now he can throw the ball. And right now he's going to read these defenders on the outside. As soon as he sees them take off in man and to cover all those wide receivers, you see he wants to throw it. It's an RPO, run-pass option. But he sees the defense fall out of there, and he takes the run. And he takes it himself, and untouched into the end zone he goes. Really good read there from Rodgers.
So Brown on for the extra point, and it makes it a 14-10 Louisville lead. Chandler Rogers says this stuff's easy right now at the quarterback spot. Untouched around the edge for 6. And Louisville, first quarter, we've seen a pick 6. We've seen a 58-yard field goal. We've seen turnover on the other end on a kickoff return. We've seen a little bit of everything. A big penalty on Akeem Dent that kept the drive alive for Louisville. That's resulted in them grabbing the lead. And it's still just the first quarter. From the 2-yard line. Trying to find some space. And a little bit of space for Blades. A good return, and Columbus in good shape once again, but they've got to work against, Joel, one of the best defenses in the league. It's got some stars this season. How about Cam Gill? He leads the league in sacks with 10. Corey Mayfield Jr. was out last week. He's back this week, leads the league in interceptions. And Jaheim Thomas, well, he has just been a tackling machine. It's a tough task going against Jamie Sharper's Louisville Kings defense this season.
Well, I tell you, every great defense has stars and great players on every level of their defense. That's exactly the way that Louisville is built. A star in Cam Gill up at the line of scrimmage. Jaheim Thomas at the second level, number 18. And then in the back end, Corey Mayfield, number 12. And it's just tough. You maintain those levels and you're a good defense.
Nowhere to go with Xavier Carlton clogging up that run. Let's listen in with the defensive play call from Jamie Sharp.
Show two. Let's out of smoke.
So he's going to show cover 2 and try to bluff this, but then some sort of smoke that would signal to me a pressure right here. So you're going to try to bluff them into, hey, we're playing normal defense, and then they're going to rotate to some sort of pressure here. So you're going to bluff the cover 2. There's your safeties. Now you see the rotation, and there's the pressure.
And a low snap. Morton gets that ball up and out of the hands of Toa. 3rd down and 9, and we listen again to Jamie Sharp.
Get Apache double rat.
Kings.
rat. Apache double rat.
I'm not good.
Let's see what Apache double rat is.
We can. You want
Apache,
All right, here we go. We got,
I would imagine some sort of pressure. And rat means that they might try to drop a defensive lineman out or something. See here, you can see they're showing everything, and then the double rats, they come out of their ends.
Zip across the middle. Morton able to buy time in the pocket. Really good pocket manipulation by a quarterback in just his second start.
Well, this is so the defensive play call here from Sharper. They're bringing this. So he's got Apache. He's going to come with the blitz, and he's got rats coming out here. What do you need to do? You need to get in behind them, and there's the route just coming in right behind those dropped-out defensive ends. He gets a little time, manipulates the pocket very well. Look at him just scoot up right here, and then shows off that arm again. I tell you what, guys. He can sling it now. He is throwing some seeds out there.
Everybody moving a little bit early, and that'll cost 5 for Columbus.
False start. 64 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Chris Glazer, you heard him exclaim, "What?" as he heard the call.
He didn't realize his center didn't snap it. I think he was on the correct snap count. He's like, what's going on?
Hey, we got Fox right. Hey, we got Fox
You
right.
can see in this first quarter
Utah one, ready?
why Jalen Morton trusts his arm so much, and why he talks about that, because he's got a good arm.
Oh, he throws an absolute heater.
First and 15. Floats this one with a little touch, and it's off the fingertips of his intended target, Keith Brown.
And Jake, this is where you're a former tight end. You've got to understand the velocity that your quarterback throws with. I think that the Columbus wide receivers can at times get surprised with how hard that ball gets onto their hands.
We got trips left fig.
Absolutely, Joel, but I'd also say on the flip side, I talked to Kiki Chisholm and some of these pass catchers pregame, and even though that ball's coming with velocity, they know that ball can come at any time, especially when he's scrambling outside the pocket. They say he doesn't scramble just to run, he scrambles to pass, so there's some playmaking opportunities as well.
Ball deflected. Looked like Morton may have got tipped a little bit at the line, trying to leak that one out to Gunnar Oaks, and it's 3rd and 15. Cam Gill with speed.
What are we doing here on 3rd and 15? My goodness, it's probably a little bit too far for Dalmas. Although I got to tell you, the kid, I mean, he hit from 58. It would have been good from here, and this would be a 4-point kick. They're going the same direction. I would have thought about kicking this. Dalmas had plenty of leg.
Now they draw play with Lovett trying to get to the outside. He's only going to gain about a yard on the play. And now we've got pushing and shoving it all.
Oh no, here we go.
Flags all over the place. Laundry aplenty. Oh my. And now a full-on brawl. Helmets off all over the place on this field. It's going to take a little time to sort this one out.
I'm talking about the ball.
Here's the end of the play, Cap. So you got blocking downfield, right? You've got the wide receivers and DBs. Garrar gets his helmet ripped off, and now he's working out there as well. Tate Martin and Garrar are right in the middle of that. Then the offensive linemen get involved, and once they get involved, then it's on, because the defensive linemen are going to get involved. Got more helmets coming off, flags all over the place.
A couple of punches thrown in the midst of all this. See one right there.
Yeah.
Bell coming in on Lovett.
Yeah.
Another swing.
You know, it's always those the second and third guys.
Hear what you're saying?
Okay, both sides. I didn't see a true punch, but it was enough to throw flags on both sides.
Okay. Listen to me. Louisville 3 goes. He's out. He throws a haymaker.
Copy that, Louisville number 3.
So we're going to get rid of number 3.
Are we? gonna offset these, Will? You got a number for the other player?
There's a guy, I think number 81 man came in.
Yeah, 81. 81 and 7. So you got 7 also on Louisville, and you got 81.
Right here, I couldn't move something right there.
Which is
81 on Columbus.
That's correct.
Okay, we're going to offset and disqualify number 3 for Louisville.
3 for Louisville.
Are 3 and 7 both ejected?
3 only. Unless you want to eject 7. But from our standpoint, it's only 3.
There are multiple fouls after the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on Columbus, number 81. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 7, Louisville. Flagrant personal foul, number 3 for Louisville. Number 3 is ejected for the remainder of the game.
So Cam Dantzler, former third-round pick of the Vikings, and you saw it. The reason he's been ejected from the game, it was a right cross to the helmet of John Lovett that gets him booted out of this one.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. And again, it's never the immediate action. You know, you can have some unsportsmanlike, but then you get, there it is right there. He just throws a huge right cross, like you said. This is not MMA. And he's going to be ejected. We will...
He is not suspended for next week. The ejection does not carry a 1-game suspension with it for the following week. So Cam Dantzler will be eligible to play in the playoffs next week for Louisville, but his regular season ends early.
77 have reported as eligible.
So now Jonah Dolmas will come on and try a long field goal here for Columbus.
This is going to be a 4-point attempt here. He had the leg. He kicked 58 earlier. He had plenty of leg on it.
All right, this from 61. He was hitting from 63 in warm-ups. Good snap and hold. Dolmas' kick for 4 points. On the way, it is good. This game is tied. Jonah Dolmas. And now, by the way, in the league on 60-point field goals. It's a pretty good percentage from 60-plus this year. Now back to work goes Louisville, and Wheeler stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. And Chandler Rogers, they've seen enough of Chandler Rogers to go into the postseason and keeping him healthy. Here comes N'Kosi Perry, Florida Atlantic, transferred from the University of Miami. Chandler Rogers' day is done. We'll see him next week in the playoffs, and it's Perry for at least the rest of this first half.
Perry is now 27 years old, and what an opportunity to put some film out there. As a quarterback, that's all you want, is an opportunity to get out there, show what you can do, and here's his chance.
Yeah, J-Rock.
Middle, and the handoff to Jaden Sheridan. A good start for this first possession for Perry. And that'll take us to the end of a very busy first quarter in the final game of the regular season in the UFL. 14-14, Louisville has already been punched to the postseason. Second down and 4, and an opening for Sheridan down the sideline. Jaden Sheridan into Columbus territory and out of bounds at the 49.
This is a great job on the right side of their offensive line. Watch their offensive line get out and they get these reach blocks. First of all, you look at the right guard, Jalen Thomas, and he gets around what's the 3 technique. What is the 3 technique? It's when the defensive lineman lines up on the outside shoulder of the guard. And that's the toughest block for a guard to make, is to try to reach him or get to his outside shoulder so that you can get that outside running lane, which they got. So Jalen Thomas played his college ball at SMU. Heck of a block there on the interior.
Here we go.
I think it was a 16-yard run. And on first down, big hit in the backfield. Sheridan trying to turn it upfield, and there's big Patrick Jenkins to sandwich him at midfield.
Well, you see the good offensive line play, and here a miscommunication on the left side. So watch their guard and tackle. You got Dyson Tunstall. They're just going to leave somebody totally unblocked and a whiff, and you can tell when the offensive linemen start looking at each other like that, they know that something got screwed up, and that play was done before it started.
10 plays for Louisville on offense, all 10 on the ground. When we see the first pass of the day for the Kings on 2nd and 11. We will not. Hand off up the middle. And much there for Sheridan, but they are across midfield, Joel, so Louisville's going to have to go for it. The punt is out of the equation.
Now, Tanner Brown has hit from 60, but to get into that range at least, you're going to have to get, what do you say, about 6 yards right here to try to get down to the 42. The 42-yard line is the marker for a 4-point field goal. Here's Tanner Brown right here. I think he's probably got range for a little more than 60. So you're looking for 4 or 5 yards here, and we might see another attempt.
3rd and 9. Perry, first pass of the day for the Kings, and it's off the fingertips of the intended target, Zach Davidson, and it's 4th down.
Davidson leads the UFL as far as tight ends go in targets, but he also has 5 drops on the season. This is probably a 6th, because although that one was low and away, and he's complaining that he got hit in the face mask, that hit him in the hands. You know, you got to fight through that and try to see. He does get hit in the face mask, and he gets hit early. There's no doubt. Tough to fight through that one, as Smoke Monday was there in coverage.
Of course, they can't punt, so you either have to kick a really long field goal or go for it. They'll go for it on 4th and 9. Tough snap to handle. Perry with pressure. It's batted down at the line, incomplete. And a turnover on downs. The Columbus defense gets it done. Savion Patton. And Chandler Rogers is already starting to think about prepping for those Battle Hawks in St. Louis. That'll be a great atmosphere, Joel.
Yeah, it really will. It's always a great home crowd for St. Louis, but they've lost 2 straight years in the first round of the playoffs at home. We'll see if they can get out since that game against St. Louis, but St. Louis has the best defense in the UFL.
So Tower lunging across the midfield stripe, which means now Columbus has to either convert or go for it on 4th down here, or try another long field goal.
Or there you go. Now you're in. See, I'm like, we're just constantly around this midfield area where we can get an opportunity for a 4-point kick.
Hey, come on now. Let's go, bro. Make a play. Let's go. Let's go.
Not much wind on this really nice night for football in Columbus. Temps at kickoff at 77 degrees. 3rd and 7. Backside pressure. Morton was hit as he throws it. It's incomplete, trying to zip it to Gunnar Oaks, but he was under some serious heat, and it's 4th down.
Now they've got to come up with something here on 4th and 7. Let's hear the play call here from Todd Haley and see what we got in the huddle.
Hold on. Hey, here we go. Hey, we got outlet stack 75 Z pylon XN on 1 right?
4th and 7.
180.
4-man pressure. Morton with time. His ball batted down at the line, and it ends the same way it did for the Louisville offense as it does for the Columbus offense. A turnover on downs with a batted ball on 4th down. Lonnie Phelps Jr. getting in front of Morton and able to bat that ball down. The teams exchanged turn last 6, including 3 straight wins. Nobody in the UFL is going into the playoffs any hotter than the Louisville Kings. 5-1 since that start. What a turnaround for Chris Redmond, for Chandler Rogers, for this entire brand new franchise. O.C. Perry on in relief in the quarterback spot. The handoff to Ian Wheeler, and no gain on the play. And I mean, you look at what that hit did. We were there for that game, Joel, when Chandler Rogers took that big hit from Derek Roberson of DC. It's weird to say it, but it really did feel like, certainly in that game that turned it around. Really, you could say that was the spark that lit the fuse for this entire surge in the second half of the season.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, they're what are they, 2-4 at the time. They're down in that game. It's nearing halftime. They're on the road against the defending champ, and all of a sudden they get that free 1st down, punch it into the end zone, and they haven't looked back since. They have been absolutely outstanding. They've done a couple of things really well during this stretch. Number one is they've won the turnover margin. Chandler Rogers has kept the football away from the opponent. He's done a great job. 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And then they've turned turnovers from their defense into points. 56 points off turnovers this year is 2nd in the UFL. And that has really been the key. And you couple that with with the fact that they've been running the football better. The defense has been very good, in particular getting after the quarterback. And you've got a team that no one wants to play in the postseason.
3rd and 1, and this play stopped before it started with a flag down.
Prior to the snap, first time out of the half, Louisville.
So no flag, the timeout used first, and Louisville will regather before 3rd and 1. And Jake Budd, what are we looking at goal-wise if you're a Louisville Kings fan for this game today?
Well, I'll tell you what Chris Redmond told me pregame, and this has been a conversation throughout the season. As good as the Kings have been, Redmond has echoed every single week. He doesn't feel like this team has played their complete best football game yet this season. So he said going into this game, the keys for them were staying out of their own way. A lot of penalties last week, the self-inflicted wounds. Obviously today we've seen a fight. You get some players ejected. There was a turnover on special teams. But I think it's interesting going into the playoffs with how hot this Kings team has been. Redmond feels that there's still meat on the bone left to be uncovered.
That's a great point. And as a coach, you're constantly looking for those areas where you can coach your football team hard. And certainly there's going to be some of that even from the first half here so far today.
7 points. Red ball.
3rd down and 1. Wheeler on the carry over the left side, and enough for the first down to the 39-yard line.
I really like how physical Wheeler is on those short yardage runs. You know, if you're a running back and you're learning the position, one of the things that you've got to learn how to do is get your pads parallel to the line of scrimmage and get yourself moving what you would call north and south or straight up the field, in particular in those short yardage situations. He does a good job of that.
Down to 10. Perry over the middle, too tall for his intended target, Lucky Jackson. And it's 2nd down and 10.
You can see they're just trying to find their rhythm in the passing game, and it's very difficult to do when you get a new quarterback in there. N'Kosi Perry trying to work through his progression. Offensive line has done a pretty good job keeping him clean so far. Just got to settle down, keep himself in good rhythm, which means good footwork.
Let's go. Try
to deliver that ball a little bit more accurately.
Blue 88, huh?
2nd down, Perry on the play, fake. Trey McKinney back on the field. He's been banged up a good portion of this year, Joel, just his 5th catch of the year, but they're happy to have the talented tight end back on the field.
And this is what a run game does for you. There's the tight end, and you're just going to sneak him out here. Why? Because you get fast flow over this direction from the defense, and you can see it sucks the defense in. Smoke Monday, who's kind of playing that nickel back, that strong safety position. He's responsible for the tight end, and McKinney just finds wide open area off the play fake.
Perry setting up the screen. It's Lucky Jackson in the middle of the field, down to the 19-yard line, pulled down by Kendrick Whitehead, and it's 2nd down. This Columbus defense has been improving as the year goes on, and the best pass defense in the league, 2nd best total defense in the league for Captain Munnerlyn, the long-time NFL defensive back, helming this defense.
One of the things that they've struggled with is trying to take the football away. They're last in the UFL in takeaways, and a lot of that is produced by pressure. They just don't quite get enough pressure on the quarterback. We'll see if they can get a little bit more here in this game.
He goes down. He looked up, and the reason he went down, Walter Powell, 339 pounds of him standing in his path.
Yeah, great job by Palmore. He's going to be in the interior here, and he's just going to find himself right in the backfield. You can see he splits the offensive line, and he gets himself there, and there's nowhere to go for Wheeler.
3rd down and 6. Perry will step up in the pocket. Now he'll run. Perry with some space, diving forward for the first down. That little leap across the line to move the chains for N'Kosi Perry.
This is a very good decision, and he made it with some decisiveness here. So he's going to get some crossing routes, and he wants to go over the middle, and then he sees right there just some green grass, and he's able to take off up the field. And that's a good sense of where the first down marker is, and he's able to stay head first. And Chandler Rogers He's loving it. First down for Perry on the dive.
From the 14, high shotgun snap. Perry pulls it down and able to do something with it to Tariq Black. Look at the Aviators. 5 of them on Black as he gets 9 yards. And he never goes down.
Tell you, Perry has found a nice little rhythm here, making good decisions in the passing game. It started with that ball to Trey McKitty on the outside, an easy completion. And then he scrambles for a first down here. That ball was actually tipped at the line of scrimmage. Really good concentration from Tariq Black. He went 4 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown last week in their win over Dallas. This is a nice little rhythm for Perry on this series.
Second down on a short 2. Perry looking for the end zone, fade into the corner, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down for N'Kosi Perry, who was in the CFL with Hamilton. Spent 2 years in the European Football League after leaving Florida Atlantic, began his career at Miami, so he has been battling for an opportunity like this, and he finally gets it today.
He played for Mark Richt at Miami, and then Manny Diaz, 4 years, 9 starts for the Hurricanes, but then FAU for Willie Taggart, 2-year starter, started 24 games. He had 45 passing touchdowns in his career there at FAU.
3rd down and 2. Off the contact, it's Jaden Sheridan. It looked like progress took him over the line to gain, and they say it's a first down.
It looked like that extra fight just got that ball just across the line to gain for the first down. Good run from the small back Jaden Sheridan. He's only 5'8", 189, Kev, but he ran physical right here. Gets the ball on the interior right there. There's the contact, and as he spins away from Palmore, he's able to just lean forward for an extra half yard.
First and goal, handoff, barreling towards the goal line, and at the goal line is Wheeler, just short.
Boy, from our angle up here, it looked like he got that ball over the goal line, but the officials rule him just short. As he's spinning backwards, watch as he just trying to back his way into the end zone. He's up, and then there he's finally down on Smoke Monday. That ball's across the goal line. I think that's a touchdown. He's up as that right arm. That is a great look. Our camera crew is all over it. What a terrific shot from the back of the end zone.
The previous play is being reviewed.
Mike Pereira looking at this.
Yeah, he's up. He's up the whole time, Kev. And then that ball, you can tell, is extended over the right shoulder.
Almost crab walked it.
Frank, I'm just looking at all the shots here. The shot that they just showed here, too.
Command center.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to 25 on the play clock or 10?
Give me that shot down the line again one more time.
We're going to go, listen.
This shot here.
We're going 13 big. We're going calm.
Yeah, this shot here.
Deuce. Everyone surge forward. You find the open gap. It could be in the B gap. You guys got it?
He is. He was up all the way, Frank, and by the time he hits down, the ball does break the plane. He's got it in his right hand, actually. Tough one to see on the field, but to me, this is a touchdown.
So the runner had possession of the ball when it crossed the goal line.
That's correct.
Got it. During the play, the runner had possession of the ball when it crossed the goal line. It is a touchdown.
Well, you saw right away, Joel, that is 6 on the board for Ian Wheeler.
And just great fight from Wheeler after contact as he just backs himself into the end zone, and a really good series for N'Kosi Perry, who drives this Kings team down for a touchdown. What an effective drive through the air on the ground. You can tell they're leaning into this run game. There's no doubt. You look up, and this Louisville team already 17 carries,
Please reset the game clock.
almost 100 yards. They're almost over 75 yards so far in this game.
3-yard touchdown officially for Ian Wheeler, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season, and Louisville on top.
Come on now.
Great job.
Very undecided on that dot.
Tanner Brown for the extra point, and it's 21-14. Playoff bound Louisville on the road and on top, 20. 21-14 thanks to the touchdown run by Ian Wheeler. Upon review, it's 6. One more with the extra point, and Chandler Rogers enjoying what he's seeing from the sidelines.
You're playing live football, and let's face it, the way that the NFL has gone, minimizing full pad practices as well as minimizing the off-season in terms of total number of workouts, a league like the UFL, I think it's not only warranted, but it's needed for these players that are trying to get reps at these positions. And this is invaluable for a guy like Jalen Morton trying to continue his career, for a guy who's coached at the highest level, has the resources of guys with gold jackets. I mean, that's what really this is all about, and it makes this great. It makes the game so much better when you've got guys passing down information from generation to generation.
3rd and 2, Morton floats this one, and out of the backfield, it's Lovett up the sideline, jumping his way into Louisville territory with a first down.
Lovett is such a dynamic weapon out of the backfield, really a true modern running back in the sense that he can go and catch it out of the backfield. Last week he had a couple of touchdowns, 50 yards, catching the ball out of the backfield, and that's a great read. You can tell that the running back can do one of two things in there, guys. He can be involved in protection and be responsible for that linebacker off the edge, or if he's what's called a free release and not checking the linebacker, then the quarterback protects himself off of that blitz and dumps it right over the top of the backer for a completion.
Morton trying to buy some time in the pocket, and he throws that one incomplete. Just stepped out of the pocket into the direction of Kiki Chisholm. He threw it away, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning in Columbus. Aviators trying to put points on the board before halftime. 2nd and 10. The handoff is to Toa, and Tawa down to the 45-yard line where it's 3rd down and long. Remember, punts off, punt can be utilized here because they're under 2 minutes in the second quarter.
Cowboy, 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 cowboy. Right, Brown. Cowboy, cowboy, cowboy. Say it.
3rd and 7. Quick toss to the edge. Oaks provides the block, and it's a first down and more. Aesop Winston down the sidelines. Well-designed play, and Gunnar Oaks got out there to open up the door for Winston.
Yeah, Oaks made the play work. He's the tight end. He's going to be motioning out right here. Watch the block that he throws on the outside. Just a terrific job getting to the corner, and Mayfield gets stuck inside, and that allows the corner to be taken, and Winston is able to get a ton of yards and out of bounds here inside of 2 minutes to stop the clock.
32-yard line of Louisville, a pickup of 13. They've got to hurry, play clock under 5. She's got the snap, 4-man pressure. Morton stepping up, throwing down the right side. It is caught inside the 5 and down to the 2. It's Aesop Winston, 1st and goal, Aviators.
They're going to hustle up to the line of scrimmage. I cannot wait to show you this last throw. I mean, this was an absolute bullet right on the money.
And the handoff is to Toa into the end zone for an Aviators touchdown.
Tell you, what a series right there. Managing the clock, getting the ball outside, play clock rolling down. He's able to get his team to the line of scrimmage. And how about this? Just a rocket right down the field inside the 5-yard line. That is thrown on the money. That coverage from Mayfield was terrific, and the ball is put in the perfect spot. And Winston gets the catch inside the 5 right after that little screen on the outside. Got a bunch of yards, and Jalen Morton, I tell you, that was an incredible series from Morton right there.
Joel, we have seen pass after pass here
under Jalen Morton in Week 10 against Louisville.
Big hits on this return, and Tyler Hudson is stymied before he gets to the 25-yard line. Louisville will get the football to start the second half. They've got 2 timeouts and 1:05 to work with. Let's see if N'Kosi Perry could try to double up here for Louisville.
Well, it's been primarily on the ground for Louisville, but Perry got a little bit of a rhythm going during that last series. He's 4 of 8 for 38 yards. We'll see if they can get something loose down the field. Remember, everything has been off the run game, so we've seen very little just straight drop back pass from Louisville so far here in this first half, but that's where they're going to have to sit right here with 1:05 left.
Nice straight drop, floats it down the sideline, trying to put some touch under that one for Tariq Black, but it's incomplete.
Intended for number 17, Tariq Black. Second down 10.
Joel, how much time has N'Kosi Perry likely been in a 2-minute drill situation?
Well, I mean, he maybe gets a rep per week in 2-minute. I mean, all of these reps, once you get into the middle of the season, they all go to the starter. And in particular with a guy like Chandler Rogers, who was inserted mid-season into the starting lineup, I'm sure Perry has had very little reps. And you can tell by that play call. Now they're just trying to protect here and say, okay, maybe we can pop a screen. They go to the screen here, and it's snuffed out by the Aviators.
And Columbus calls timeout. Now they're thinking about points on the board before halftime, and they're thinking about a potential lead going into the locker room.
First timeout.
Good timeout right there, because you got them way behind the chains. So now you got an opportunity to get a stop, call another timeout, get the ball back with somewhere around 44, 42 seconds after a punt with one timeout left and a quarterback that has an absolute cannon attached to his right shoulder.
And a kicker who today has hit a 4-point field goal in Jonah Dalmas. So you're looking at an opportunity for points here if you could just get the ball back and get a stop on 3rd and 15.
Oh, we are just begging for the 4-point field goal all day here. I've never been so pro kicker in my life.
3rd and 15. Pressure comes. Perry steps away from the first rush. Looking downfield with a flag down. Perry will heave this one to the middle of the field, and that pass is somehow caught. How did it end up in the hands of Isaiah Winstead?
Well, now what's the call?
Prior to the pass, holding, 9 of the defense. Penalties declined, result of plays, first down.
Unbelievable. This is going to stand, and Winstead somehow secures this.
Remember, he had a big touchdown last week, and this one, he's got bodies all over him, and he's able to fight through and catch that ball. I don't know how he did that. Whitehead was all over his right side, and he brings that one in, bobbling it towards the turf, but it looked like he was able to hang on.
I mean, if you don't catch that, you'd make it a case to use your super challenge to get the penalty. First down and 10. Here's Lucky Jackson. Oh my, was that read well by Kendrick Whitehead. Tossed him to the turf.
Second time out of the half. Louisville, 30 seconds in duration.
I mean, Perry had so much time to throw. Part of it was he was able to elude and get himself out of the pocket. But check out the time to throw here. There's the rush. He steps away, and now he's over on the right side. I mean, he takes almost 7 seconds and then just throws it up. It looks like a punt. And then Winstead is able to bring it down in the middle of all that contact.
And Jake, but what a play by N'Kosi Perry, and what a catch by Isaiah Winstead.
Yeah, what a play indeed. And talking to Chris Redmond pregame, he said N'Kosi Perry was able to work with the one offense in practice this week and drove that unit right down for a touchdown against this great Louisville defense. One of the few times that's happened all season. And Redmond said, as far as Perry goes, he's a gamer. Kind of showed up there on that 3rd and long.
Blue 88. Blue 88, huh?
2nd and 13. Steps up into the pocket. Now Perry's going to run. Perry stumbling down at the 28-yard line. And a flag comes in. Perry got hit late. After the play was over, the flag is thrown.
Well, he was down, and when he popped up off of the turf, Tony Fields, number 1, came in and gave him a little bit of a shove, and they're going to continue to push and shove here after the play. Columbus is going to argue that he was going head first, which means that he's not necessarily down until there's contact, which they would be right. But you would think right there's contact with the feet. And Tony Fields, there was the shove as he's trying to get up.
There's the touch.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal with automatic first down.
I don't think Fields realized that Michael Lawson, number 41, had touched him because it was just with his feet.
Fouls on number 1. The clock
And
will
so as
start
Perry
on
pops
snap.
up off the turf, Fields gives him a shove, and that's what led to the flag.
Yo, Roy Flex, 376, Shock Dragon. On one, ready? Go. Set. Blue,
10 from the 14. Carey to the end zone, jump ball, it's caught! Isaiah Winstead! What a drive for the Kings wide receiver!
Well, we've seen that twice now today. Louisville taking advantage of defensive penalties.
97 and 99.
One was on that field goal attempt early in the game, their first offensive series, and Columbus jumped offside. Louisville took advantage, stuck it in the end zone. And then here, after a couple of penalties, extend the drive for Louisville. Perry throws an absolute dime to Winstead, who makes an incredible one-handed catch toward the back of the end zone. And again, Akeem Dent moving early. And now a scrum again.
Offside. Hey, get your guys in the huddle. Get your guys in the huddle, please. We're going to have offside.
I want to tell y'all referee, y'all so quick.
Cool. Stand up, one number 15. Good work. Lock in.
There's a little push. The flags come out. Patrick Jenkins, a little poke at the head of John Campbell.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it going. March it off.
Fouls on the play. Offside. Number 15. The defense. Penalties decline. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 98 of the defense. Penalties enforced half the distance to the goal. The try is from the 7.5.
Tempers flaring again in the final game of the regular season. So far, 48 combined points on the board before halftime. And looking for one more is Tanner Brown. And it's 28-21 Louisville. Kings will get the football to start the second half, but they close the first half with a flourish.
I'll tell you, these routes are on point here on the outside. First of all, look at Isaiah Winstead. Great release at the line of scrimmage. Then he gets a little separation and goes up with one hand, and he's able to grab that one out of the air. Just a beautiful throw from N'Kosi Perry. Up and over the top. He knows he's got to win if he throws that high, and he's able to do so. And then Winstead brings it down. What a great series for the Kings there right before halftime. What a first half we've had. I mean, this has had it all. We've got the pick six to start the game. We've had some fights, some great throws, both quarterbacks, really all three. You know, well, Perry and Morton, and 49 points now. My goodness.
Well, and Isaiah Winstead, how about that drive? He makes this catch to keep the drive alive, securing that through all kinds of contact. And then a couple of plays later, he's in the end zone. This is one of the best catches of the season.
Yeah, it really is. In particular, with all the hang time on that throw, Perry was just kind of throwing up a prayer. And he's able to fight through Kendrick Whitehead and get that ball, and then he comes down with that touchdown in the back of the end zone. I mean, the end zone catch I thought was even better because he gives late hands, one-handed, grabs it, and the Kings put a score up right before half.
Louisville will get the football to start the second half. See what happens on this return. That may determine what Columbus decides to do, and there's not much there for Akeem Dent. Big hit leveled for Louisville by Jaden Shurden.
How about that? 2 catches, 59, and a touchdown, all on the last drive. Winstead doing it all on that last drive. I tell you, when someone's feeling it, you make a catch like that, go right back to him. And he had that man coverage. He beat that man coverage to the corner of the end zone. But again, the throw was terrific. You got to understand the leverage that you need to throw with. It's not a back shoulder throw. He gives it some air towards the back of the end zone, and Winstead brings it down.
So now with 2 timeouts, Columbus with 17 seconds to work with. He'll check it short, catch by Lovett, and he'll motor out of bounds with a first down and 11 seconds left on the clock.
I mean, he's got the arm talent. If they can get something up the seam, they still have a timeout. Remember, you know, they've got to get somewhere past the 50-yard line with Dalmas. Dalmas has already made a 4-point field goal today. Made it, what was that, Kev? 61?
61 for Dalmas. Most in any first half this season, the combined 49 points, and we're not done yet. That's batted down at the line, and with 7 seconds to go, it becomes a steeper hill for the Aviators to put points on the board.
Yeah, I don't know if they can get something completed even with the timeout that far down the field in just 7 seconds. This ball is going to need to leave his hand pretty quickly. Probably looking at something like all go, just send 4 verticals, try to find a seam.
Stack 75, Z pylon X in on 1. Ready? Leap. 180. That's
Second and 10. Morton, clean pocket, throws, deflected by Eric Garrett. He had the pick 6 to start the game. He got his left fingers on this one. And it's 3rd down and 10.
Gosh, that feels like forever ago when Garrett had that pick 6. It was the first snap of the game. A long first half, but an exciting first half. There's no doubt. All these points, great plays being made. I mean, I think Morton could throw this to the end zone.
I think he could too. I was just going to ask you about that.
I think there's no doubt. In particular, if he gets any sort of momentum moving forward, there's no doubt he could probably get. Oh, they're just going to take a knee. Oh, we wanted to see Morton's arm. Oh,
heave that thing 65 yards. Really the only disappointment of the first half. We saw almost everything you could want in a football game in one half, and the best news is we've still got another half to go before the regular season closes up. 28-21, Louisville with the 7-point lead at halftime as we go downstairs to Jake Butt.
Well, Coach, with the playoff spot already secured, you're able to put up 28 points in a half, the most points scored in a half all season. What stood out to you from your offense?
You know, these guys just like playing football. You know, we came out and, you know, no matter who's in the game, we said, let's just go give it all we got, you know, and like we got a lot of momentum heading into this game. We don't want to let that go.
You told me pregame that Perry led the offense to a touchdown in the 2-minute drill during the week. You called him a playmaker and a gamer. What stood out to you on that 2-minute drive there?
I guess I wasn't lying, right? You know, he made plays with his legs and obviously with his arm. And he's a great guy. He's done a great job all year. Just really good to have someone like that as a backup quarterback for sure.
What's your plan at quarterback in the second half?
We're probably going to give Kosi the first series and then let Mike take a crack at it. And he's we traded for this guy, so excited. It's going to be a fun second half.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Mike DeLillo is who he's talking about, so we'll see him, it sounds like, in the second half. Time for today's Big Move, brought to you by Pods. And the big move was on the very first move of the day. A pick 6 that kind of set the tone for what that first half was going to look like. Eric Garrett moving in front of that pass from Jalen Morton and into the end zone untouched for a pick 6 to start.
Well, Coach, your quarterback, Jalen Morton, comes out and has an explosive first half. What stood out to you about his play?
Well, you know, we can't turn the ball over early in the first quarter. You know, we just got to go out, keep playing our plays, stay within what we know how to do, and win a ball game.
Thank you, Coach.
So the Aviators down a touchdown as we get set to start this third quarter. Louisville will have the football first, and as you heard Chris Redmond say, N'Kosi Perry's going to get one more series, and then we're going to see Mike DeLillo, who they acquired in a trade with DC earlier in the season. And down at the 33-yard line is where Perry and the offense will go back to work.
Well, they want to run the football. That's what's led them to this hot streak, winning 3 in a row. Run the football over those last 3 weeks for a little over 160 yards per game. You can see Wheeler, 10 carries for 27, but Isaiah Winston came on strong there late. Both catches, all 59 yards in the touch on that last series.
First down at 10. All at the 33-yard line. And on first down, first up the middle to the 43-yard line. A 10-yard run for Ian Wheeler.
Yeah, he was crediting that offensive line. They opened up a big hole. Louisville was very efficient in that first half. Only 4 drives by their offense. 28 points. Remember, they had the pick 6 and then 3 offensive touchdowns. So Columbus has not stopped them much here today.
First down at 10 is Wheeler again. Stop that time. It's Patrick Jenkins burying Wheeler in the backfield. Excellent penetration by Jenkins.
I thought if Perry was reading this, that he had a chance to get himself on the edge. You can see they were squeezed down. He probably makes the right read. You can tell Tony Fields, #1, he was playing almost like a spy on the outside as a linebacker, and that allows the defensive linemen to just get after the running back. They can just take the running back. That's their key. They take him, and they leave Perry for the linebacker.
5th tackle for loss today. That was sack. Ron Stone Jr., 5.5 sacks on the season.
I don't know exactly what is going on here, but this is clearly a miscommunication. You can tell, watch the tight end. He's tapping his left side right here with his left hand. I think he wants the running back, Ian Wheeler, to take the inside guy, and he would take the outside guy, but neither of them takes anybody. And when you got 2 guys not blocking anyone, your quarterback's going to go down. That's exactly what happened.
Confusion up front, and the first sack of the night for Columbus. 3rd and 19 after the sack. Perry steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to run. Perry to the 40, and Perry out of bounds, shy of the midfield stripe, and that's a fortunate break for the Kings. If he clears midfield but ends up short, they'd have to go. Now they can punt it away if they choose.
I was thinking the exact same thing. You know, if you're the quarterback there, it's smart to go out of bounds. I don't know if that's what he was thinking, but he's kind of pushed out of bounds right before he gets to the 50. Yeah, there, Tompkins pushes him out, which is a nice defensive play there, but they are very fortunate and they can punt it away.
Brown will punt. Trying to pin Columbus deep. Fielded at the 12-yard line. Michael Lawson gets the corner, and he is dropped. How about the tackle by Mac Brown? We've got punters making tackles. We've got 61-yard field goals, pick sixes. Cats and dogs living together. Bring it a boom. The punter, Mac Brown. You know he's fired up. It's the only time Lucky Jackson and Tyler Hudson have ever spoken to him.
That's right.
Love it. To the edge, and love it down at the 31.
Lucky was like, walked up and he was like, I'm sorry, is it Mac? Yeah, I'm Lucky. Look, rewind this. Look at that. A great tackle, man.
Punters are people too, and they're also tacklers.
Barely.
Hey, here we go.
Barely. Not on that point. Mac Brown.
We got Yak to Trip Strong, Brown Rocket on, hey?
Coke.
Hey,
If the other Mac Brown were still coaching, he would try to get Mac Brown on his team somehow, some way.
Son, that was just a really good tackle.
3rd down, he zips it in. Gunnar Oaks on the run, and inside the Louisville 45. Another terrific throw from Jalen Morton.
And he recognizes the flow of the defense. Watch, he's going to get fast flow of the defense, and then he sees a seam that he can get right there. Watch the defense flow out, and then it's just a little bit of a slip route by the tight end. Gunnar Oaks does a great job of selling that he's going to block, and then he's outside of the defender, and that's a beautiful throw again from Jalen Morton. I'm telling you, they've got something here. They're going to try to keep this group together, and Jalen Morton come back for them next year. He has played really well last week with his legs, this week throwing the football down the field.
First down and 10, play action. Gill on the hunt. Gill trying to drop him as he throws that one out of bounds. Cam Gill wants his 11th sack of the season.
Okay, so we have holding on the defense, intentional grounding. We're going to offset back to the previous spot. 18 on the holding.
Yes, sir.
There are fouls by both teams prior to the pass. Holding, we're 18 in the defense. Intentional grounding, the offense. Penalties offset at the previous spot. First down.
That's a huge break for Columbus with the offsetting penalties. No doubt, because Cam Gill was in the backfield so quickly, that play had no chance whatsoever. He was headed for his 11th sack for sure.
Number 64 has reported as eligible.
That's your defensive player of the year in the UFL. He has been outstanding. Single season record, 10 sacks.
Hey, we got one flood, tight play. Black gonna be loaded on.
It's hard to see the hold down the field. You can see the tight end, Gunnar Oaks, number 84. He's trying to get through the field, and you can see he's just held a little bit. Pretty ticky-tack. Don't love the call at all, but you know what? It was called.
Toa, jump cut to the outside, a little stiff arm. Oh, he put on the brakes and reversed his field. Toa hopping for a first down.
Gotta love the physical finish from Tawa. Comes over the left side, and he's got a lead blocker in front of him. That's Matt Farniok. And there's the first stiff arm. Then he's going to go back inside. Then he's just going to continue his physical ways. There's 1, 2, 3. He just continues to battle the Kings as he's hit out of bounds.
64. As reported as eligible.
5 carries, 10 yards in the first half.
Watch out for
carry for 15 there.
Hey, watch out for Chris Glazer, 64. He's eligible right here.
We saw Glazer a couple of weeks ago catch a 21-yard pass. So it is something that he can do. Todd Haley told us at the time, look, he can jump from offensive guard to tight end without any trouble.
Yeah, and Jake, obviously you're the tight end expert, but you were telling us before the game just what a Swiss Army knife he is in there, Chris Glazer, for this offense.
We got half left in, 77.
Can play all 5 positions, including tight end. And they even said, hey, keep an eye out there. He might even run routes, potentially could catch a pass.
Set. 180.
That's a delay. Yep.
Delay of game offense. 5-yard penalty. Till second down.
Now, it's interesting, and I haven't brought it up yet today, but they're going away from the scoreboard. So here's what's going on right now. He's saying the hand motion. He didn't get the hand motion from the back judge. The play clock going in the direction that Columbus is going is not working today. See, so there's the blank play clock. And so the quarterback has to watch the back judge, and he's going to give hand signals once he gets inside of 5, and he's going to tick it off. You know, he throws his hand up, 5, 4, 3, and you can see him in the background with his hand out. That's 10, and now he starts taking it down as the play clock winds down.
Gordon in the pocket, floats this one towards Gunnar Oaks, who was well covered, and that pocket was collapsing quickly on top of Jalen Morton.
Pass rush finally starting to get to him. That's an uneasy feeling. Jalen Morton, you're having a quality series, and then all of a sudden you get stuck without the play clock. You don't see the official out there. You get the delay of game. And now, real quickly, they're behind the chains, and an opportunity for this pass rush and Cam Gill to get loose.
I'll go FY. Hurry.
Hunt is not in the equation. They're certainly in field goal range for Dalmas. 3rd and 13 to the sideline, incomplete. Chisholm was open, they just did not connect. In the area was Mekhi Garner.
Well, Chisholm's lucky he didn't extend for this, because Gardner would have had just an absolute shot to be had on him. If he extends for this ball, you can see Gardner was lining him up right there. I don't think Morton ever saw the defender.
Where we going, Stu?
That's a ball that you're putting your wide receiver in harm's way if you don't understand what the defensive structure is, and we'll get a field goal opportunity.
Dalmas from 58 and 61 today. His shortest attempt of the night from 49, and Dalmas 8-24, Aviators within 4.
As we get Mike DeLillo in as the new quarterback for Louisville.
That's 10.
Acquired in a trade with DC, but Jason Bean was sent to the defenders, and DeLillo getting his first opportunity. And on first down, he hands it off to Jaden Sheridan. So Mike DeLillo, the Austin Peay product, threw for 339 yards and a couple of touchdowns with the defenders in 6 games last season. Began his college career at Florida Tech, then went to Middle Tennessee before going over to Austin Peay, where he became a starter in his final 2 years there.
He did play 5 snaps in week 3 for DC. That was his only action of the season. None with Louisville since he was acquired in that trade that you mentioned for Jason Bean.
That short toss to Davidson, who ends up about 2.5 yards short of a Louisville first down.
You just get the sense, I know it's 28-24, it's the third quarter, all that. Chris Redmond is clearly just in the, let's work on fundamentals, let's work on what we do well, and get ourselves to the postseason and try to go win a game on the road next week. That's what it feels like, right? Getting more guys action, letting them feel the game, sense the game, letting the offensive line come off the football.
Well, he's got to be thrilled with one aspect of the game, and that's penalties. Not a penalty yet for Louisville. DeLillo is buried. On 3rd and 2, he is absolutely crushed by Jacoby Windman, and it's 4th down, and because they were across midfield, they've got to go.
A clear mix-up here in the protection, because what you get here is the rush on the inside and the tackle kicks way outside and nobody is there to protect the quarterback. And as a quarterback, you're thinking the in-man on the line of scrimmage. He's always got to be taken probably by an offensive lineman. There's no reason that the quarterback would be looking at Windman right there, and Windman just comes in for an easy sack.
And they're going to have to use a timeout. That play clock was down to 1 before they broke up.
First timeout of the half, Louisville.
You all right?
Yeah, I just can't hear him.
Couldn't hear. Okay.
He's not hearing the play calls in his helmet right now.
Both dagger.
I just heard both, so I just...
Okay, yeah, we got both dagger coming. Step up here.
Maybe it was the sack charted loose. I was just going to say. But here's the protection. You can see the offensive line is supposed to be sliding out, and then they've got their arms out, and again, you don't want to see that. But if you're going to be in a slide, and here's the way you identify protections, is that the side of the offensive line that's going to be in a zone protection or a slide protection, they've got to identify the 2 down defensive linemen, and then who is the defender that they're sliding to. If it's way outside, then the guard has to know that, and he's got to bounce all the way out to the end man on the line of scrimmage. That was not communicated very well. That was the breakdown in the protection that allowed Windman to come in for an easy sack.
4th and 11. DeLillo buying time. Throws it short, and short of the first down is Lucky Jackson. Needed 2 more yards upfield, and he's held short of the line to gain by Trayvon Jones. Ted Ginn Jr.'s defense gets the stop and gets the football back midway through the 3rd.
Hurry.
With Martin in motion on first down, Tawa burst up the middle, and Tawa stopped just shy of midfield.
Kings.
Down 3.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Hey, we got outright fin, brown playboy, F slide on 1, right?
Lead it in.
Here we go. Hurry.
See the blood from that finger on the towel. He's trying to keep it clean as he battles through that finger injury in this 3rd quarter. Throws deflected, almost intercepted off the deflection.
He put that on the money. Looked like Gunnar Oates there, the tight end. He just went right through his hands. You can see he spins off right here, and Oach certainly has to catch that ball. This is a guy that was all UFL last year when he played for Michigan. Gunnar Oaks needs to catch that one. He knows it. And even with that injured finger, you can see he is still putting a lot of velocity on the football.
180.
3rd and 2. Here's Tawa. Cuts it back to find the lane for the first down. Well, that's a really good cut by Tawa to get that first.
I just love how physical he is as a runner. He's looking for contact. He's looking for extra yards. I would call him a plus runner. A plus running meaning you block for 2, he'll get you 3 or 4. You block for 4, he'll get you 6 or 7. He's always moving forward, keeping his legs going, physical behind his pads.
Yo. Hey, here we go. Say it. Hey, alert. Hurry, set it.
First down at 10. Tawa. And he fights forward for 4. Let's listen in to Jamie Sharper on the Kings defensive side.
Bingo. Go ahead, get in. Trav. Bingo. Come on, JB. Get out, JB. Hey, alert. Bear single.
Tawa up the middle, and he's got a first down inside the 35. I believe that Josiah Bronson was late getting off the field.
He was hustling off, there's no doubt.
Defense, too many men on the field. Penalties decline. The play results in a first down. 64 as reported as eligible.
64, Chris Blazer.
Turn 137
back in as eligible.
Monday, set. 180.
To 10. Off the play fake. Incomplete.
Morton pass incomplete. Flags on the play.
There is no foul during the play. Number 64 was reported as eligible. Second down.
He was indeed.
And he went out for a route there. He was on the bad side of there. I wanted him to get the ball.
That's about the only thing we haven't had in this game, Joel, is a big man making a catch.
That's right, we've seen it all. The 4-point field goal, we've seen the punter making a tackle, we've seen a fight, we've seen it all.
Hurry.
Second and 10, handoff, Lovett swallowed up. That's Lonnie Phelps, the first one there.
Well, here on 3rd and 1, the thing that Morton has had some success with, he's been able to find Oaks at times, the tight end, down the seam, and then Winston has been his best target, 3 catches for 51 yards.
Morton on the run, in trouble, trying to get to the corner. A good tackle by Eric Guerra, fighting away from Morton.
Do you stay on the field here, or do you take the 3 and try to get within 1?
Sounds like field goals coming out to get within 1.
Dalmas has been terrific tonight so far.
We've still got the whole 4th quarter to play, so a lot of time left for
64
Columbus.
and 71 have reported as eligible.
Went back to the right, to the tight end. Sorry.
This from 51 for Dalmas. And Dalmas curving that one, and it's good. It looked like it was 8 yards wide left, and it bent like Beckham. Right in for 3. This had some English on it. Look at that ball. Started left, comes back right.
He's terrific at what he does. Love seeing him in the fall. Love seeing him out here at the UFL.
And you'll see him again in the fall. because that one little shot's not going to keep him down.
No, but if I know anything about television crews, all the other camera guys right now are thinking to themselves, wow, that's too much camera time. So now they're going to make a big joke out of this. And Dave's going to
now he's back on camera.
They're able to do, what do you get? You get flow going this way, and then now you can get the tight end going out the opposite direction. Good job by DeLillo. Good ball handling in the backfield, and then just a little slip route by the tight end, and that creates a first down for the Kings.
11 yards later, they move the chains. And you talked about it earlier. Chris Redmond looking like he was wanting to emphasize fundamentals and clean football through 3 quarters, and penalties were a big problem last week. Nary a penalty tonight against the Louisville Kings. He's got to be thrilled with that. I mean, last week was such a significant penalty problem. And this week, not a one, 13-0.
That's crazy. I mean, there's an old coaching adage, and really in life this applies. You achieve what you emphasize. You know, and just talking about it, talking about the fundamentals, lining it up properly. A lot of penalties you can control. Some of them you can't, right? You know, you dive in, maybe grab a face mask or something, and you're not meaning to. But a lot of penalties you can control. And they've certainly done a good job tonight.
DeLillo trying to fit it into Caden Prather, wide of the target. It's 3rd and 7.
It's a little quick, a little low. That in-breaking route, tough to get your rhythm. You're not out there for so long. Again, DeLillo played late last season. Started the last regular season game for DC. Went 18-26 for 142 yards in that game. He ran it 10 times for 60 yards, so he's got some legs. But when you play this few and far between, remember, there's no replicating these types of live reps, and so he's going through this for the first time in a year. It's tough.
3rd down and 7 off his first incompletion. He'll throw on 3rd and 7, and he'll throw deep. A good adjustment, but could not come back to it. Caden Prather just a little bit short of snaring that one, and it's 4th and 7.
We're still going. We gotta go.
I mean, heck of an adjustment that Prather tries to make. This was thrown way underneath. He looks like he's trying to go deep to the corner of the end zone, and this ball is thrown way short, and he's trying to get back, but just can't get back to it. I know he wants that, but man, that's a tough catch.
Across midfield, they have to go for it on 4th down. So they will go on 4th and 7, and the play clock winding. They say he got the snap in time, but pressure forcing DeLillo on the run. He's in trouble, and he's sacked. Kendrick Whitehead was in hot pursuit, and he was able to catch up to the Louisville quarterback and throw him down on 4th.
Pressure from Columbus. They've done a good job all night getting to these quarterbacks, and here, DeLillo nowhere to go. Aviators will have the ball when we come back. Pressure came from the interior. You get pressure right here up the middle, and Morton's able to just step away, and then he finds the edge on the outside. There he steps away. It looks like there's a challenge going on right now. I would imagine that Louisville feels like there was a hold in there. Maybe on Cole Cabral.
Holding your number 98 was held.
98 was been held by their offensive lineman. I showed the number. You'll see it.
Yeah, I got you. I'm taking a look at it.
Louisville is challenging for holding on the previous play.
No, let's grab him on the back of the collar. Let's grab him and pull him back. Right there. And I think he possibly gets there. Watch him. There's the grab that. Yeah, you're looking at low right too. Does pull him by the back. Does pull him by the back of the jersey there. And I think he's got the opportunity to get there if it's not pulled there. Okay, we are going to go with the hold. Grab in the back and pull. It's going to previous spots the 38, Frank.
Okay.
So we're going to
go back from the 38 to the 48. We were on position tree.
38 to the 48.
What was the number of that?
We're going back. It's Carson White. 20?
So a good super challenge by Chris Redmond.
After reviewing the play, holding number 69 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down. Louisville is not charged with a timeout.
Let's go.
Travis Bell just beat Cole Cabral so quickly. That's all Cabral could do is grab his jersey right there. Just great get off by Travis Bell. The quickness in there at 310 pounds. That was a great rush from the interior. I can tell you that's not what, as a quarterback, you feel like you can handle outside rushers. As long as you can step up in the pocket, there's ways that you can manipulate the pocket. But when you get somebody right in your face right away, that's so difficult. Travis Bell there producing the pressure right on the interior.
Got a jersey torn as a result of that as well. First and 20.
180.
After the hold, back to the 48-yard line. On the slant, it's Chisholm. Good tackle as he tried to turn it the other way upfield. That was Diago Brumfield who was able to make that stop.
And I'm surprised that they haven't tried to attack the outside. Remember, guys, way a long time ago, Cameron Dantzler, the starting corner for Louisville, was ejected from this game for throwing a punch. And Diago Brumfield came into the game as a backup corner, and they haven't really gone after him at all. That's really the first time we've seen him attack number 24, but he makes the play.
Yeah, first time we've called his name tonight, 2nd and 16. Morton will throw right side, incomplete. They were going back after Brumfield this time, Joel, and Kiki Chisholm the target.
Well, he had a step here. Brumfield's given a lot of space here and cushion to Kiki Chisholm, and Chisholm just takes too long getting out of his route. You can see the timing there between he and Morton is just not correct. That's a timing route trying to get what's called a bang 8. An 8 route is a post, and if you want it to be quicker and in front of the safety, you call it a bang 8. And that's what they were trying to complete, and they couldn't do it.
180.
3rd and 16. Morton flushed. Morton gonna run, and Morton upended at the 42. How about Brumfield again? That was the Diago Brumfield highlight reel.
2 really good tackles on this series alone, and as Morton gets out of the pocket to the right side, here's Brumfield. He falls off his route, and then he goes right after the legs, and he keeps his helmet to the outside. That's a textbook tackle, going after the legs like that.
71.
Big quarterback. Remember, Morton is 226 pounds. Brumfield only 190. Giving up all that weight, and he goes after his legs, and he gets him.
All right, a chance for another 4-point field goal. He hit from 61. This from 60. The line drive this time is no good, and the first miss of the night for Jonah Dalmas. And how about the super challenge? It pushes Columbus back to the point where they have to try the long field goal. They come up empty, and Louisville, as a result, still has the 1-point lead in the fourth.
All right, so guys, just smile and say, switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes and get an iPhone 17 on them.
Switch to T-Mobile.
You know, they're not playing for any position in the postseason. They've come out here. Good throw by DeLillo right there.
Tossed to the turf is Caden Prather with a first down.
He's tried to target Caden Prather several times now. Prather only 8 catches on the year coming into today's ball game. Good slant right there, and that ball is thrown perfectly. Upfield shoulder, still on his frame. Prather is able to just run through it and get some yards after the catch.
Well, to your point, it's been interesting to watch Louisville compete with this focus with the playoffs locked up and by using 3 different quarterbacks tonight, too.
That's a good point.
First down. Nowhere to go this time for Jaden Shurton. He'll lose yardage. Back to the 31.
That's going to be an interesting matchup next week because, you know, St. Louis losing this weekend. I look at them, and defensively, they're obviously outstanding. And Louisville will have their hands full. Chandler Rogers in that run game trying to get themselves loose a little bit against St. Louis. But St. Louis has struggled so much trying to find consistent passing game. You know, they've gone through several quarterbacks themselves
First time out of the house
during the course of the year. So that's going to be a fascinating and a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's 2 defenses that are really hitting their stride. But you're right. If you were to take the tail of the tape, and I'm sure you will next week because you're on the call, you have to look at the Louisville offense right now and say an advantage for them offensively. But does that advantage get negated by the way St. Louis has played defense for most of this season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the fact that they're able to lean in, what are you giving up? What are you scoring after a giveaway or takeaway? They're plus 47 in that best in the UFL. Really opportunistic team.
Well, teams that are that slanted one way on the positive side are rarely teams that have losing records. Those are usually teams you're talking about going to the playoffs.
That's right. And remember, this is just a way different team than that 0-3 start. And they define themselves. This is a brand new organization now, right? Like, this is the first year in Louisville. Chris Redmond gets this opportunity. He's putting together this roster. And it took them a little bit to find out what works, but they found what works. And here's what works. A dynamic quarterback in Chandler Rogers and a run game that can sustain drives. Again, over the last 3 weeks, they've run the ball for 161 yards per. They're doing that again tonight, 118 on the ground.
Galillo floats that one with good touch into the waiting arms of Tyler Hudson, and that'll be a first down. And you talk about the changes Chris Redmond made. Don't forget, all 5 offensive line starters are different from week 1. That was a major change for Chris Redmond. Not only the quarterback position, traded his starter away, but they retooled that entire offensive line. And as we've seen in this league, that's not easy to do.
Well, and you've got to find the right combination. It's not about just like, oh, who are our 5 guys up front. It's where are they playing, where are they best, how do they work best together? And they finally unlocked that combination in particular in the run game.
And off and a burst into the end zone. It's Jaden Sheridan with the touchdown. His first rushing touchdown of the season.
Number 2. Oh, what? Oh, no, go for one. One.
Columbus gets caught right here in a blitz. And when you blitz your second level, what happens, you get one crease, and now you don't have any levels of defense. Watch, you're going to get walk up here. Well, now, if you get just one crease, bang, it's gone, and there's no one there. It's just you and the safety, and he just outruns the safety, and he's into the end zone. Michael Lawson took a bad angle from his safety position, but you get one crease like that. Credit that offensive line, covering up color. Chris Redmond loving it. That's exactly why they've been so effective on the ground.
And then you broke perfectly. Are you okay?
And Tanner Brown makes it 35 points for the Kings. 30, 33, 37, and 35 scored in the last 4 games for the Louisville Kings. They're up 35-27 with 6:47 to go. 4 for 4 in the red zone tonight. Let's go to Jake Butt.
Well, Coach, your team's turnaround has been one of the stories of the season. You guys are going to the playoffs next week. What's the biggest difference in the way your team's playing right now from earlier in the season?
Taking care of the ball. I think we had some, personnel changes, but our chemistry really came together about midway through the season, and the guys really rallied, and, credit to them, man. We were down, when you lose 3 games in a row, it's easy to quit. These guys have no quit in them, so it's an amazing story what these guys are doing right now, and, I'm just real proud of them.
In the midst of all these recent wins was a loss to St. Louis. You're going to St. Louis to take them on in their house for the playoffs next week. How do you beat that team this time around?
I think we're going to be a different team, hopefully, this time when we play them. They're a great ball club. They got an incredible defense. They can score points, got an incredible receiver. We just have to execute and just not shoot ourselves in the foot. If we can do that and not go backwards, this team's got a lot of potential. And I'm just, we really haven't even reached it yet. So real excited where this team's going, the opportunities we have in front of us.
A chance for your quarterback, Chandler Rogers, to get some rest today. What do you need to see from him to help lead your team to victory next week?
He just got to do what he does. He's just such a good decision maker, great leader, and does everything on and off the field the right way. So I just want him to, be himself and not just because we're in the playoffs, you don't have to be any kind of different person. Just be who you are and believe in yourself, and we're going to be fine.
Looking forward to watching you guys compete, Coach. Thank you.
It's been a great story this year in the UFL. Chance for Louisville and St. Louis to match up once again, but this time in the postseason. And if you're Chris Redmond, you're hoping for a little better results than what we saw in week 6 between these two teams, because that was a dominant performance by that Battle Hawks defense in a 16-3 win.
Well, it's a different club because they've leaned into the run game, and Chandler Rogers is your quarterback. Now, that was his first start, so he did play against St. Louis. And listen, that Battle Hawks defense, we've seen them several times, Kev. They are very good. I mean, very good. Peter Dalmo and Paynu up front, Travis Feeney and others. They're terrific against the run, then they get after the quarterback really well, and they're good in the secondary as well. They take the ball away. And one of the things that you've got to do against what has become the league's best rushing defense for St. Louis is find a way to sustain the ground game and create second and short, move the chains, keep them on the field for 6, 7, 8 plays. The pass rush, once you get to 7 or 8 plays on a drive, it gets slower, and you can slow them down and minimize what those guys are doing off the edge. That's going to be the challenge for Louisville next week. And listen, if there's one team in the league that could potentially do it, I do think it's Louisville, because of exactly the way that they've been playing down the stretch, running the ball, quarterback making good decisions. By the way, he can use his legs. We've seen that. So again, I think this is strength against strength, and just a terrific matchup that we're going to see next Sunday night.
And they did not get this snap off, and a delay of game on 2nd and 1.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It just said 25.
Well, this season has filled its way with all kinds of twists and turns. When the year ended, Birmingham at the beginning of the year was the favorite to win the UFL championship. Entering today, you see Orlando the favorite with the Battle Hawks, Defenders, and Kings. Pretty good odds if you like those Kings to win the United Bowl. You still get that decent odds for a UFL championship, and those Kings and Battle Hawks on Fox next Sunday night.
I'm surprised Louisville has the lowest odds there.
I am too, especially with what
played.
we've seen from DC and the struggles they've had without Tom.
Yeah.
2nd and 6, Morton throwing on the run, coming back to get it is Tay Martin, and a first down to the Louisville 37.
I'll tell you what, this is a thing of beauty. Watching Jalen Morton throw the football when he's on the run, this is as good as it gets. So first they're in the pocket, he doesn't like it. And now he's going to escape the pocket, and he's on the move to his right. Once he's on the move to his right, we've seen his ability to throw the football, and he spins a beauty out there. And Tay Martin is wide open for a completion and a first down.
And of course, still battling that injured index finger on his throwing hand.
I can't tell when he throws it, can you?
No, not at all. That's not on that ball for sure. Here's Total punishing run to the 25, and another first down.
What do I always talk about with Toa his physical runs. And listen, as a guy that, Jake Butt, you're kind of a pseudo O-lineman, right? Tight end, kind of pseudo O-lineman. Doesn't it get you all charged up when the running back runs physically like that at the end?
Absolutely. I think the entire group feeds off that, and that's why you block so hard, and hopefully they're getting to see some more of it here.
A better job done by the Kings to shut down that physical Toa run. We've talked a lot about Louisville. They're playing next week against St. Louis, but tip of the cap to this Columbus Aviators squad over the last couple of weeks. Would have been real easy for Ted Ginn Jr.'s team to just put a stamp on this and drop it in the mailbox for the last 2 weeks and mail it in. They go out, they beat the Stallions last week, put 36 on the board, 27 points, and driving for more in this game.
Yeah, I feel like they found something in the last couple of weeks offensively with Jalen Morton as their quarterback that they would feel good about moving into next season.
2nd and 9, Morton under pressure, and he'll just heave this one down the sidelines. Nobody in the area. Was he out of the pocket?
He's out of the pocket.
Yeah, he had moved over, took a couple of shuffles. I thought he was out of the pocket. Good pressure there from Louisville. You know, there's some question here. He just needs to get basically, outside of about that line right there. And as he shuffles over, I feel like he's clearly outside. And then he just heaves it out of play. Just the outside shoulder of the tackle.
9. Morton to the end zone, and incomplete. Tay Martin was there, had a half a step, but Morton just couldn't get it to him, and now 4th and 9, and they'll go. They have no choice.
I think that they've got to go for this here. They do have 2 timeouts left. If you wanted to kick it, you could try to get the football back.
Kings. 54. 154. You got 10 seconds. 154. Get him up on the back.
They've got to hurry. That play clock is winding.
Hurry. Set.
On 4th and 9. Morton. Pressure comes. Incomplete. That pocket collapsing on Jalen Morton. He couldn't get enough time to get set, and a turnover on downs.
I felt like he had good enough time to start, but nobody open. Good coverage there from the secondary of Louisville.
Where's he coming from?
Morton's got his eyes downfield, and right away he's got time, and then he gets a little pressure right there. But you can see all of them drop back in coverage, and they do a great job of covering up those wide receivers. And it looked like they only sent 4 guys out, trying to get a little protection in there, back staying in. That was John Lovett, and there's the double team over on the far side. That's where Morton wanted to go. Incomplete. Offense back on the field for Louisville.
0 for 2 tonight on 4th down. Now are the Aviators. 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning to stop it as the Kings go back to work. 1st down at 10. It's Ian Wheeler, and Wheeler chugging down the sideline. Ian Wheeler on the run. 1 man to beat. Shrugs him aside and then stops out of bounds. Trayvon Jones just did enough to prevent Wheeler from getting in for 6.
Boy, they are very good on the right side of that offensive line. This is just a straight little stretch play over to the right. You can see everyone covered up like that. Tony Fields maybe gets held just a bit by Davison, the tight end. And then Michael Lawson came up a little bit gimpy. He's the safety, number 41. It looked like he kind of grabbed at a hamstring. And that's what allowed Wheeler to take off down the sideline. I believe Columbus is going to challenge this, that Tony Fields got held by the tight end, number 84,
Columbus
Zach
is
Davidson.
challenging that there was holding on the previous play. His number 1 was being held.
It's a 61-yard rush that is in danger.
Number 1 here. His number 1. So who's blocking 1?
No way.
So he's saying 84 blocking on number 1. The shot behind the offense is my best look. And to me, looking at it here, engages, pushes through, not enough for a hold. Denying the challenge. Denying the challenge. Result of the play is as ruled.
After reviewing the play, the Columbus challenge is denied. They are charged their 2nd timeout and may not challenge for the remainder of the game. Play results in a 1st down.
Well, that's huge because it also removes one of those timeouts. And now Columbus really behind the 8 ball here. Louisville with a chance to make this a 2-possession game. They can take some clock away, try to move this inside of 2 minutes, and that would be a very steep hill to climb for Columbus.
2:27 left. The longest play from scrimmage for Louisville this season, 61 yards. And Wheeler now 14 carries, 99 yards rushing on the night.
You look up and I tell you, look at that run game. We've been talking about this. Last week, 212 yards. Kev, look at it, 196 tonight. I mean, like, they have just been so good on the ground.
Really for now the last 4 games. Nice cut by Sheridan a second, then a stiff arm, and Sheridan on a play that looked like it was going to lose yardage, gets positive yardage with a flag down.
Jaden Sheridan on the carry, penalty markers are down.
27 defense, we're going to go half the distance to the 5. Personal foul, face mask, number 27 of the defense. Penalties enforced, half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. 1st down.
Smoke Monday comes in. There's the grab of the face mask. Just good, hard running from Jaden Sheridan. We've seen that a couple of times. Not the biggest back, 5'8", 189, but just refuses to get tackled. And there's the grab of the face mask, turns the head, draws the foul. Ian Wheeler loving it up there, and all of these runs over that right side. Jalen Thomas, Juwan Bushell-Beatty, that right side of that offensive line has been doing some serious work.
Oh, no snap. No
They
snap.
do not have to snap this football before the 2-minute warning.
Hey,
Clock continuing to run, and they're not going to.
Understand what he was saying?
So first and goal, and the 2-minute warning has arrived in Columbus. Louisville trying to put this away and head into the playoffs on a winning note.
Hey, look him. Get him going. Finish it up. Let's go.
Morton to the sideline, incomplete, jarred out by Brumfield, who has played a whale in the second half for Louisville.
Came in after Cameron Dantzler was ejected early in this game, and Diago Brumfield has played really well and now gives them some depth moving into next week into the playoff. You've obviously got Corey Mayfield Jr. on the opposite side. He's got 4 interceptions this year. Dantzler is a good matchup for Akeem Butler, who's 6'6". Dantzler is at least 6'2" next week against St. Louis, and then you got Brumfield out there.
Could be the final play of this one. 5 seconds to go. Morton in trouble. Down he goes. The sack ends the season for the Columbus Aviators and sends the Louisville Kings into the playoffs with a 42-27 win.
Good job, baby. Good job. Teddy G. All right, baby. All right, baby. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, appreciate you, man.
42-27 the final, and the Louisville